Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our daily word this morning as we continue our journey together. As always, I'm grateful that you could join me for our time together and our continued conversation around Scripture and what it means for us and how it affects our lives. It's a little rainy this morning. Carter and Hudson are both here again today and tomorrow, actually. And so I don't know if they'll appear on camera or not. They might at some point during our few minutes together. So today is daily word number 748 as we continue together. So as always, I'm grateful that you could join me for our time together and that you carve out time to be with me. It's always good. When you say good morning, I do appreciate that. Or whenever it is that you watch. So a reminder that Sunday morning, weather permitting, it kind of goes back and forth. Weather permitting, we'll be outside in the shelter for worship. So plan to join us at 10:15. If the weather doesn't cooperate, we will be in the fellowship hall. So either way, plan to join us if we're outside or downstairs. Either way, dress casually, of course, and if we're outside, plan to bring your chairs as we share in our time together. So the scripture for this morning, it's probably one that you're familiar with, one that we attach lots of meanings to, probably in our lives, but it's Proverbs 22, verse 6, and it says this: Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. So sometimes it says in different versions, train children in the way they should go. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. One of the things that I've always prided myself about, or tried to pride myself about, was being a really good parent. But you know you're a good parent when your kids grow up and they become parents and they're really good parents. And I think my kids are really good parents and really good citizens. And, they come to church and all of that stuff. But it's also evident when other people tell you the kind of people that your adult children are. And that's always a good thing. I saw yesterday, and the reason I chose this scripture for this morning, I saw yesterday a video from somebody who had videoed their kids and they were doing something, and the parent said, now I know this might offend some of you, but my kids cuss. And these kids are really young. They're preschool. They don't go to school yet. They're really young. My kids cuss. They actually cuss a lot, but everybody's kids cuss. And so I thought about that, and I have Carter and Hudson, and they don't cuss. They're little kids. They don't cuss. And I got to thinking about what all of this means for us in our life and what the scripture says to us. Now, the word proverb is the same Hebrew word that's used for the word parable. They're not hard and fast formulas. What parables are, what proverbs are, really are stories about the nature of life and how it works and how we should live our lives in such a way. We are pattern driven kind of people. I can look out on Sunday morning and know who's there and know who's not, typically by where people sit. So we had that conversation at lunch yesterday. But this scripture reminds us that we are setting a pattern and a path for our children. We are establishing a worldview. We're building in bumpers and warning signs to teach them what to look out for. And whether we do this with intention or not, we're teaching them a way to live. But we also do the same thing. Now, it's one thing to think about kids. Not all of us, I'm lucky, and I get that I get to influence my grandchildren in really good ways. Hopefully, always good ways. We might banter about that. That I get to, with their parents, set a path for their life to help establish a worldview. That I too, with their parents, get to build in bumpers and warning signs to teach them to look what to look out for. Whether we do it with intention or not, we really are teaching them a way to go. And that's on us who have the opportunity to do that. But it doesn't stop with that. We do the same thing with our friends, our coworkers, anybody who's in the sphere of our influence. We too affect their path. Yesterday, I posted a saying that I think is critical and important. And you might have read it, and I actually pinned it to the top. It said this: love is a long road. I'll see you down it. Love is a long road. Now, I've got a little bit of pushback on that. I know it's not easy. But you and I, we have the opportunity to influence everybody who comes in our path, to help them set a path to go the right way. And when we do that, we either help orient our kids, our grandkids, our great grandkids, whatever that looks like, our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers. We either orient them towards truth or falsehood. We orient them with bumpers, and we teach them how to love, or we don't. It's really that simple. We are called to do our best to reinforce the path of truth and to turn away from the things that don't give us truth. Now, I have to tell you, that video I saw, I was concerned, about the parent who just so blatantly says, "Oh, my kids cuss, but every kid cusses." And these are preschoolers, remind you, no, they cuss because you cuss. Kids learn the words to say because we teach them the words to say, right? And so this scripture just reminded me not of just the influence that we have on kids, but on all of those around us. And that we should take that very seriously. Start children off in the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. That proverb is very true, but it's also a reminder for us of how we're called to live in the sphere of our influence. And so I pray that you and I could do a good job with that, a better job with that, as we live our lives together and as we share them with others. I said to someone yesterday, who said, "Boy, Jim, this is really hard. It's certainly not easy." And I said, "Yeah, I agree. It's not easy, but I just want to keep walking down that road, and encounter and bring love wherever it's possible, as long as I can, as long as I'm able." And so I pray that we would do that and take that seriously in our lives. So that's our daily word for today. I hope it strikes a chord with you. I hope it makes sense. I hope it helps us, as always, to live our lives better. So thanks for joining me this morning. Know of God's love that surrounds you, and know of my love for you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.